Welcome to Advanced Logarithm. In this lesson, I would like to show you some more complex logarithm. So we're looking at the example 1. We have this expression right here, 1.487 raised to the power 3 minus 1 over 1.487 raised to the power 3 plus 1. Well, to solve this kind of expression, so what we need to do first, if you observe the numerator side, is having this same number at the numerator side and having the same one at the denominator side. So what we need to do first is to take the log of this number, multiply that log by 3, and then find the antilog. So the result we get for the antilog, we remove 1 from it to get the numerator side, and then we add 1 to it to get the denominator side. So let me show you how to do that. Draw your number log and then put in the number 1.487. So the question you need to ask yourself is this number, is it less than 1 or greater than 1? Well, this number that we have here is greater than 1, so that means we can use our calculator to determine the log directly. So let's do that. Okay, we're going to press log 1.487. I will press equals to, then we have that to be 0.1723. So let's enter that value there, 0.1723. Okay, having gotten the value of that, then we have raised to the power 3 here, so that means we're going to multiply the value of the log by the 3. So if we multiply by 3, we have 3 multiplied by 3, that will give us 9. 3 times 2, that will give us 6. 3 times 7, that will give us 21. So we write 1 and we carry 2 to this side. 3 times 1, that's going to give us 3, plus the 2 that we carry there, that will be 5. Then 3 times 0, that will give us 0. As you can see in this value, if you can confirm that, 3 times 3, 9. 3 times 2, 6. 3 times 7, 21. We write 1, we carry 1. 3 times 1, that's 3, plus the 2 we carry, that makes it 5. And if you are not sure, you can make use of your calculator to do that. So this is the value that we have now. Then the next thing to do is to determine the antilog. To determine the antilog, look at this very characteristic right here and ask yourself the question, is it positive or negative? Okay, the characteristic we have here is 0, that means it's positive. So if it is positive, that means we can use our calculator to find the antilog directly. So instead of making use of the log table, which is the 4-figure table, instead of making use of that, we can actually do that with our calculator by pressing it directly. So use the calculator and press shift or second function log and press 0.5169 and press equals to or enter. This is going to give 3.288 if you approximate it to 4-figure. So an antilog should be 4 digits, 3288. So if you approximate this other number to this place, that will be 3.288. So for those of you that are making use of your 4-figure table, you're going to have 3288. So all you need to do is to add 1 to this value. If you add 1 to this characteristic, that will give 1 for you to know where you're going to put your decimal point. So you are starting your counting from this place, that's before the 3. So since we only have 1, when we added 1 to this 0, we add 1, so that one will determine our decimal place. So we're going to count from here and count to the right hand side, because the value we got is positive, so we're counting to the right hand side. If it is negative that we got, maybe we got bar something or bar 1, bar 2, that means we're going to count to the left hand side. But for this case, our value is positive, so we're counting to the right hand side. So we count one time, since 0 plus 1 gives us 1, so we count from here 1. So that means this is the place where we have our decimal point. It will be 3.288. As you can see right here, 3.288. Well, if you're making use of your calculator, you will get this value directly. I just explained this in case if you're making use of your 4-figure table to do that. So we've gotten the answer to this 1.487 raised to the power 3. So the next thing to do now is to work it round, putting the value there that we got there into the expression now, and we have 3.288 minus 1 over 3.288 plus 1, and then when we remove 1 from this will become 2.288, and the down one, when we add 1 to it, it will become 4.288. If you are not sure, you can make use of your calculator to check that. Okay, we now have this value now, 2.288 all over 4.288. So the next thing to do now is to apply our division law right here, because these are two numbers and we have divide in between them. So let's draw our number log and then arrange the two numbers, 2.288 and 4.288. Then let's determine the log of 2.288. If you look at the 2.288, 2.288 is greater than 1. That means we can use our calculator to determine it directly. So let's use our calculator. So log 2.288, press equals to or enter. That will give us 0.3595. If we approximate it, 0.3595, and we have that right there. Then let's find the log of this one to 4.288. So log 4.288. So let's press equal to or enter. Our answer will be 0.6323. So we have that. The next thing to do now is to obey the division law of logarithm. Since we have divide in between them, that means we're going to subtract them. So subtracting them, we'll have this value. Okay, 5 minus 3 will give us 2. 9 minus 2 will give us 7. 5 minus 3 will give us 2. 3 minus 2, and 3 minus 6. So we cannot remove 6 from 3. So what we need to do, we borrow 1 from here. Since we have no other place to borrow 1 from, so we're going to borrow 1 from this 0. Okay, so if we take the 1 with the 3, this will become 13. So 13 minus 6, that will give us this 7. Remember that we borrowed 1 from here. Since we borrowed 1 from here, that means we have minus 1 here. So minus 1 minus 0, that will still give us the same minus 1. So, and that will be bar 1. Okay, having gotten that, so the next thing to do now is to determine the antilog. So to check the antilog, the first question you ask yourself is, the characteristic that we have here, is it positive or negative? If it is negative, you cannot determine your antilog directly using your calculator. But if it is positive, you can do that. So since it is negative, the first thing we're going to do is to look for a workaround it. So let's use our calculator to do the workaround. Okay, press your shift or your second function log, then press 7 2 7 2 and press equals to. So we only need the first digit, excluding the point, that's the decimal point we have. So we only need 5 3 3, then we are stopping here. So if we need to approximate, if we approximate the 8 to this 5 becomes 6, and we have 5 3 3 6. So we are only making use of 5 3 3 6. So we're not making use of the decimal, we're only making use of the 5 3 3 6. That's why I call this workaround. Okay, then we have this value 5 3 3 6. So the next thing to do now is we add 1 to this bar 1 that we have here. Bar 1 means minus 1, so minus 1 plus 1, that will give us 0. Since we're supposed to start our counting from here to know where we're going to put our decimal, so since we got the value of 0 here after adding 1 to the characteristic, that means this place will be the position where we're going to put our decimal. So our decimal will be before the 5, so we will have the answer 0.5336 will be our final answer. Okay, we can actually test run that to see if our answer is correct. So let's put up the calculator, and then we do 1.487 raised to power 3. Then let's press minus 1 equals to, then let's press divided by, and let's put the denominator in the bracket, open bracket, 1.487 raised to power 3, then we say plus 1, and let's close the bracket, and let's press equals to or enter. You can see the value that we got here is 0.5336. It tallies with our answer. That means we are very correct. Okay, let's look at the example 2. In this question, we are asked to use the logarithm table to work out the expression. You can see we're looking for the cube root of 69.5 square minus 30.5 square. So let me quickly explain something here. In order to solve a problem like this, what you need to do is to find the log of this number, multiply it by 2, and then find the antilog. Then you do the same thing to this one, find the log of this number, multiply by 2, and then find the antilog. Then you now subtract them. So the answer you get there, then it will be inside this cube root. That means since it's cube root, that means you're going to divide it by 3, and then you find the antilog. Okay, let me show you that. Your number log first, that's the first thing you need to do. Then the next thing to do now is to put in that number first, which is the 69.5. You're going to solve this side first, 69.5, and the next thing you need to do now is to ask yourself question: is this number here greater than 1 or less than 1? If you look at it, 69.5 is greater than 1, so that means using our calculator directly to find a logarithm will be very easy. It will be direct. So let's do that with our calculator. Okay, so press log 69.5, press equals to or enter. That's going to give us 1.8419. We're supposed to stop at 9, so we need to approximate every other number to this 4 figure, as you know that the mantissa needs to be 4 figure, so the mantissa should be 4 digits. So if you approximate this 8 to the 9 becomes 10, and we cannot write 10, so all we need to do is to approximate to the next number, and this one will become 2. So we now have 1.842. Since we said the mantissa should be 4 digits, then we put 0 here. So we have something like this, 1.8420. Okay, the next thing to do, since we have square here, so we are going to obey the power law. So we will multiply this value by 2. Okay, and then we have this result. So 2 multiplied by 0 will give us 2. 2 times 2, that's 4. 2 times 4, that will give us 8. And 2 multiplied by 8, that's giving 16. We write down 6. We transfer 1 to the next stage. 2 multiplied by 1, that will give us 2. 2 plus 1, and that's the 3. So the next thing to do now is to find the antilog. So finding the antilog, look at the characteristic right here and ask yourself question: is this characteristic positive or negative? Well, if this characteristic is positive, well, you can use your calculator directly to determine the antilog. So let's try to do that. Press your shift or second function log, then 3.6840, or press equals or enter. That's giving us 4830. Then if you look at the numbers before it, so this number, the antilog number, was supposed to be 4 digits, so we have 4830. So all we need to do is to approximate these numbers to this last 4 digits. So if you approximate to this place, this will become 1, and we have 4831. Okay, so we now have this for that particular side, which is 69.5 raised to power 2. We've gotten the answer to that particular one, and then the next one is to do the one of 30.5 square. Draw your number log and then put in the number 30.5. Okay, so ask yourself question: is this number greater than 1 or less than 1? If it is greater than 1, that means you can use your calculator to determine it directly. So let's use our calculator to solve the log. So we're going to work out log 30.5, enter, or equals to, that's giving us 1.4843. You remember that we need to approximate to the 4 digits. That's the mantissa side. After this point, we only are only permitted to allow 4 digits after this decimal. This is the mantissa side, and this is the characteristic. So we have 1.4843. Okay, so the next thing to do now is to obey the power law. Since it has raised to power 2 here, that means we're going to multiply that value of the log we got by 2. So we have this result. So 2 multiplied by 3 will give us 6. 2 multiplied by 4 will give 8. 2 multiplied by 8 is going to give 16. So we write down 6. We carry 1 to the next stage. 2 multiplied by 4 will give 8. Then we add the 1 that we carry there, and that will give us 9. 2 multiplied by 1, that's giving us 2. So the next thing to do now is to determine the antilog. So to determine the antilog, ask yourself this question: this characteristic right here, which is 2, is it positive or negative? So if you look at it, 2 is positive, so it doesn't have like a bar, so that means it's positive. So all you need to do there, you can make use of your calculator to determine the antilog directly. So let's do that. So shift or second function log 2.9686 and press equals to or enter, and that will give us 930 point. So we're going to approximate to this place. So we are supposed to stop at this 2 because the antilog should be 4 digits. So we ought to have 930.3. So we have 9303, then our final answer will be 930.3 for 30.5 raised to the power 2. So the next thing to do now will be, if you notice that we've solved 69.5 square and we got 4831, and then 30.5 square we got this value, so that means we're going to subtract them. So when we subtract them, we're going to have this value 3901. So we actually approximate that value. So let me try to show you that. 4831 minus 930.3. Then we'll press equals or enter. That's going to give us 3900.7. Since we are permitted to have only 4 figures, so all we need to do is to approximate this 7 to this 0, last 0. So this last 0 is the 4th digit, so we are permitted to have only 4 digits. So that's the reason why we approximate to this 0, and this 0 becomes 1. That's why we have 3901. Okay, the next thing, we now have something like this. That's the cube root of 3901. So since we are here now, all we need to do now is to draw our number log, and then we put in the number 3901. So the next thing to do is ask yourself the question, is this number greater than 1 or less than 1? Well, the number is greater than 1, so we can use our calculator directly to determine the logarithm. So let's do that. Okay, log 3901, press equals to or enter. That's going to give us 3.5912. So we need to approximate to this last digit of the mantissa. So mantissa, immediately after the decimal, you should have 4 digits, which is the mantissa side. So if we approximate to this one becomes 2, and we have 3.5912. So the next thing to do now is to obey the root's law. The root's law says that when we have the root of any number, that means we're going to divide the logarithm of that number by the root. So we're going to divide this log that we've obtained by 3. So since we have cube roots here, so that's the reason we are dividing by 3. Okay, the next thing to do is ask yourself question, the characteristic here, is it positive or negative? If this characteristic is positive, that means we can use our calculator to solve this directly. But if it is negative, that means you need to simplify the expression. So since it's positive, so let's use our calculator to do that directly. Okay, we have 3.5912 divided by 3, enter or equals to, and we will have 1.197. So we're supposed to stop around this 0, so we need to approximate every other number to this 0. You know, the mantissa side needs to be 4 digits, so 1.1971 is what we'll have there. Okay, now having gotten that, the next thing now is to look for antilog. So we're looking for the antilog of this number. So before you work out the antilog, ask yourself the question: the characteristic here, which is 1, is it positive or negative? Well, the characteristic is positive. That means we can use our calculator to solve that. So let's do that. Okay, press your shift or second function on your calculator and press log, and press the number 1.1971 and press equals to or enter, and that will give 15.74. so the antilog side needs to be 4 digits, so that means we are stopping at this 4. So if we approximate every other one, we'll still arrive at having 4. So our final answer there will be 15.74. So 1574, and our final answer 15.74. Okay, so let's try to make use of the calculator to cross-check our work if we are correct. So let's do that. Okay, the very first thing we need to do is the cube root, and then we'll place these two in brackets. So let's try to do that. In order to do the cube root, the first thing you need to do, if you're making use of the calculator that is using prefix style, all you need to do is to press 3 and then press your shift or second function and press this. You can see n root s here. That's the function we're making use of. Then press that. That will show 3 roots. And then the next thing to do is to use your open and close brackets. So we want to place these two values in it, 69.5 square. So let's do that. 69.5, and then we have square here, so press that, and then we press minus, then we have 30.5, then square, and then we close the bracket. And then the next thing to now do is to press enter or equals to, and we have 15.74 approximately. You can see that we are very correct